Hello fellow builders, it's great to have you back for another video from our Let's Play series, Twisted Dunes on the Oasis map. I'm your builder, New Build Cities, NBC for short, and in this video we're going to build a golf course. I'm going to ask you to embrace your imagination today and either put your green glasses on and pretend the sand is grass, or assume that in 100 years in the future we have the technology to play golf in the desert as if it were beautiful pristine grass. Also, this video is going to be the last building episode for Twisted Dunes. We have about 3 more episodes left, a short one to highlight tiles 8 and 9 to round off that little mini-series, a longer, maybe 30-minute episode going over the city, the stats, how things are set up, like death care, garbage, etc. And the final video will be a very short comparison showing a side-by-side of the original map in our city. So let's get started. First, I'm going to work on the clubhouse a bit. I chose the academic library to serve as our clubhouse. It is a grand and gorgeous building that suits this purpose wonderfully. Well, it looks like things are starting to take shape. We have a decent entryway into the golf course. And as you can see, I got the academic library in. We also have the driving range, and I have a fountain from our university in front of it. And what I'm thinking I'd like to do is add some parking around the fountain, add some parking on the side of our clubhouse, and then behind it, what I think we'll do is add a few amenities like a tennis court, the pool, and the gym. And in case you're new to the channel, maybe you never knew how to make parking lots, or you fell and bumped your head, I am going to use the local and organic produce from the Green Cities DLC to make the parking lots. We're basically zoning the 2x4 and the 2x3 dimension. I did a mix of high and low density because the density doesn't matter, and I'm looking for the Edison charging station. I'm going to go ahead and add a water tower, a radio tower, just a couple things in this area to make it stand out. I also added 2 souvenir shops from the amusement park on both sides of the road entering our golf course. This is going to be a private course, and those buildings are going to serve as a place to check in before you enter into the golf course. And it's looking pretty good so far. I think what I'm going to do is let the local organic produce grow in, and let's go ahead and start making some golf holes. And what I'm going to do first is just some rough terraining, get some ideas of where I want to place some of the golf holes, the tee boxes, and the greens. I'm going to run the gravel path in here just to kind of get a rough framing of the area, an idea of where the holes are going to be in relation to the path. And you might be asking yourself, well, how are you going to make a golf course? There's no assets to make a golf course. We're basically going to be doing some detailing on steroids. What we're going to do is a butt ton of terraining, both to raise greens up. We're going to go ahead and use the dirt road as well as the gravel path to make bunkers. We'll have elevated places for tee boxes and do some fencing with that, as well as use a lot of trees, bushes, and water to kind of shape the holes. It's going to look awesome when we're done. It's a shame it's on sand. As I mentioned before, just pretend it's green. And I already have plans for the next city to have a golf course, and I will be picking a map that has grass. So there is an upcoming opportunity to build a really beautiful golf course in the next city. And it's starting to take shape. I can see the holes starting to form already. This hole here is going to be a dog leg right, and it's a little tough with the elevation that we have, but things are coming along really nice. Let's get the green to come out. This hole in the corner is starting to look pretty good. Now I want to lower the height by this rock formation down a bit, and also add like a little lake up here and a waterfall, because I want when you're driving up on your golf cart up into these holes that are in the backside, that you drive right past a beautiful waterfall. And then on the top here, I want to make a par 3 where you have to hit over the water to get on the green. And you'll have awesome views of the city from this green. So looking good so far. We have what, maybe 5 or 6 holes back here. Our water's filling up. It's looking really good. Obviously we're not done. I mean, we got a lot more work to do back there with the vegetation, but let's go ahead, at least get a rough idea of the holes that are going to be along the tile ledge here. And what I'd like to do is connect the waterway, since we do have the game running now and we're filling up our lake. I want that water to drain somewhere, so let's go ahead and connect that to the rest of our water system. That's going to be a really pretty waterfall. That looks good. That looks really good. Go ahead and get some padding in here. the water poke in a little bit. So you have a little bit of a challenge here with some water to the left. And that'll kind of protect the green on one side. In this hole, I like to make an island green. There's a famous hole, I think it's on TPC Sawgrass. Might be the 17th hole if I remember correctly. Might be called the Bear Trap. You can fact check me on that. There's an island green that you hit onto. So we'll go ahead and recreate that here. Right now I'm wishing that the terrain tools were one step smaller. Always my complaint. 5 steps, not 3. Should have one step smaller, one step bigger. That way you can fine tune these things a little bit easier. And maybe we'll put a little sand here too. And as you can see, when I'm making the bunker, what I'm doing is placing down the gravel road, dirt road, going into the name and just making it period, so you can't even see the name. And then I'm bordering the dirt road with a dirt path. It gives it a nice effect. It's a lot easier to do it that way, using the gravel road and the dirt path kind of like together, because paths don't snap the roads. Whereas if you try to do multiple roads or multiple paths, they snap to themselves, so then it becomes a pain to try and get around the snapping if you don't have mods. Now what I want to do is go ahead and do some more shaping of the holes, add some bunkers, and then add some of the vegetation. I think this will end up being a long par 4. Let's go ahead and add a bunker in the back. It'll help give players a backstop. In case they go off the green, their ball won't go into the highway. Looks pretty good. Go ahead and add some trees. That'll help define the area. Give ourselves a tee box. We'll come back a little later and do some more detailing around the tee boxes. Well, I did a bunch of planting of the trees. Didn't feel like showing you 40 minutes of tree planting. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how it came out. Let's go ahead and do some of the detailing around the tee boxes. We'll start with this one here that goes to the island. I'm using the trash can from the city park to act as the tee off location. If you've ever played golf before, you probably know that there's different colors depending on the type of golfer you are. Most places have like a red, white, blue, and black. Some places have green and gold as well. But usually white is men's, blue is amateur, black is professional, red is ladies. And it's just different places to tee off from. When I had a membership at the golf course, I played off of pretty much every different color tee spot. Sometimes I played off the gold, which is the seniors. Sometimes I played off the red, sometimes the blue, not really the black. I wasn't that good, and I didn't want to punish myself that bad. And of course the white as well. Just so, you know, when you're a member at a course, you know, you play the same 18, or in my case, it had the place I was a member at had 2 golf courses. If you're going once or twice a week, it can get a little boring sometimes, even when they change the pin placements. So, you know, sometimes you just like to see the course from a different perspective and play off of different tees. At least that's what I did. Now this hole here is modeled off of a famous hole. I think it's on Pebble Beach. It's where you hit down like 70 feet or something like that. And it's right on the water with the wind. You can blow your ball all over the place. But that's like the idea here. As you're hitting up real high, down onto a green that's going to be well protected by sand. Ha! Sand. The whole thing's sand. Make sure you keep your green glasses on. I think I forgot to mention I'm using one of the lamps, the lights from the prop section, to be our flag for the green. Don't lose your ball on those rocks. And it looks like I changed the path to the paved path. This is going to be a really nice golf course, so they paved it. We're going to have maintained flower beds by the tee box. Yeah, it's going to be nice. And that looks good so far. I went ahead and finished up a couple of the other holes. And of course at the end, we'll play around the golf together. And that way you'll get to see it, every hole in pretty good detail. I like to go ahead and work on the holes that are near the clubhouse and river. I think we could fit maybe 4 holes in here. And this is the sad thing about being on console. Only 9 tiles. I think the course end up having maybe 14 holes, not the full 18. And it's a shame we just don't have the space without sacrificing a bunch of other stuff or building a much smaller city. Folks on console always want more tiles. I mean, I'd love to have more tiles as well. That's constantly posted like on Reddit and on the console Facebook group. And people will argue you can't because you can't handle it. I don't believe in that for 1 second. Not because they're necessarily wrong. Just because if you have 25 tiles available too, it doesn't mean you have to build high density residential wall to wall. I mean, some people would and try and build a 1 million plus city, but if your game crashes, that's your problem. Me, I would still build probably 100,000 citizen city, and I just open up, you know, all those tiles, or we'll say 16 tiles, whatever, and just space things out. In fact, the next city we build, I'm going to make an attempt to build 3 small towns and 1 kind of like moderate sized town and connect them together and leave you know, lots of space between them. The city by itself will be like 50 to 70,000 citizens. So it's going to be smaller because once again I'm going to dedicate a lot of land for just forest trees. We're going to put golf courses in, all kinds of stuff. I have a lot of plans written down for it. I would just love to be able to do something like that on 16 tiles instead of on 9. But the developers, when they were pressed on the question, said, you know, they just have a lack of imagination. It really could be easily solved as make it 3 difficulty levels. Normal mode would just be the regular 9 tiles, and you could put some language around once you hover over it. The larger your city, the bigger impact to performance. You can have a hard mode, which could be 16 tiles. You could say this is a hard mode, have a higher chance of reaching in-game limitations, which could cause simulation failure. You know, build at your own risk kind of disclaimer. And then you can have an export mode that would open up 25 tiles. Same kind of language. There's a high likelihood of reaching game limitations. You kind of like basically build at your own risk. And I think we're all adults and we can handle that. And I don't think it would be hard to implement. It can't be that hard to go into the code and where every milestone where it says 1, just increment it to 2 or whatever the number needs to be to get to 16 and get to 25. I mean, it can't be that hard. It's got to be a number in the code somewhere. And then that way, the risk is on me. And it gives the player the power to make that choice. But the developer doesn't see it that way. They lack the imagination. Well, those holes came along pretty nice. As I ranted about not having more than 9 tiles, let's go ahead and build a nice chipping and putting area with the bathrooms and like a cafe, maybe a place you could go get something to eat or drink as you're practicing. Little spot to practice your chipping and getting out of the sand. Haha, yeah, I know, it's all sand. Remember, keep your green glasses on and a place to practice your putting. And we're done. The golf course is complete. Let's go ahead and just do a quick little overview of the golf course and see how it turned out. Then we'll go ahead and go over the clubhouse area and play around the golf and go through each hole. And here's the entrance of our golf course. The road lined with some nice, beautiful trees. And you go past our little check-in area. And all the parking lot came in. It looks nice. They're all fenced in. Got some beautiful trees around them. And some more parking for guests that come and maybe stay at the hotel. And the clubhouse looks really beautiful with this fountain. Some more parking next to driving range. And then behind the driving range we have that nice practice area. I went ahead and brought the forestry maintenance building from the Industries DLC over here. That can act as our maintenance building where we could keep all the mowing equipment. And behind our clubhouse we have the gym, the pool, and the tennis court. Let's go ahead and tee off at the first hole here. This is going to be a par 4 over the water. So we'll strike a little fear in your heart right when the round first starts. Hit our tee shot over the water. And then hit our second shot onto the green. The green is not protected, so you could run it right up onto the green. Gives you a lot of options. And then we go over our bridge across the highway. And then we'll go ahead and pass the holes to the right. And we'll drive the golf course up the mountain. Go past the waterfall and tee off at this long par 4. Maybe we hit our first shot right where these trees are. And a second shot onto the green. And we come down and go to one of our signature holes where we got to hit down quite a ways over the rocks and in between the bunkers to land on the green, par 3. And at the next hole, this is going to be a shorter par 5, but it's still difficult because you're hitting uphill, so you're losing some distance by having to go uphill. So maybe your first shot, you just up the hill. Second shot gets you by the sand. Third shot gets you on the green. And then you got a nice little bathroom spot in case you need to use the bathroom. And then the next hole, you have two options. You can be daring and hit your shot over the hill onto the green and trying to get on the green in one. Or you can take the dog leg right and hit your first shot to the corner of the dog leg. And then your second shot over the sand onto the green. And after you're done that hole, you come up to the next par 3 where you have a beautiful view of really the whole entire area, the city and everything else around the city. You got to hit your shot over the water. It's a shorter par 3, but there's a lot of hazards. You got sand on the left, water in the front, and basically a hill in the back. I did bump up the land a little bit to give you a backstop. And once you're done that hole, you drive on back towards the bridge. And at the next hole, we have bathrooms as well as a cafe, a nice midway stop, get fueled up for the rest of the round. And then the next hole, we have a slight dog leg left, par 4. Hit your shot just up towards the water, then come across towards the green. And then the next hole, we have over the water onto our island green, another signature hole. We got a nice bridge to cross onto the green. Got a nice little viewing platform. And next to the dirt path, we also have the penalty shot area, where if you hit the ball in the water from the tee box, you can go ahead and place another ball closer to the green. And of course, you lose a stroke. I guess technically 2 strokes. Ball in and ball out of the water, I think it is, if I remember right. And once you're done with that hole, you come across the highway and you cut left. And you have a par 5. Dog leg right. Hit your first shot up towards the water. Hit your next shot over the water. Now you have a dog leg left. Hit your shot onto the green. Hopefully you clear the turn on your second shot. And after that hole, you come to the next par 4. It's along the water. And that's a slight dog leg left. Hit your first shot out just before the sand. Hit your second shot onto the green. Don't slice it into the sand. And then the last hole is a par 3 onto an island green that's surrounded by sand. And then you come on back to the clubhouse. And that's our golf course. Let's go ahead and just take one more look. And that's going to wrap this episode up. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I love building golf courses. They don't really do anything, but they look beautiful in the city. Of course, this one had the disadvantage of being in the desert, so it's really a sand course. And with the green colored glasses, it looks absolutely amazing. And if you think it looks amazing, I appreciate it if you leave a like. Of course, it helps grow the channel and hopefully promote this video and help fellow console and vanilla players see what you can do without mods when building a golf course. And if you would like to join the NBC family, I'd love to have you become a subscriber. If you'd like to interact with me live, stop by my Twitch page. The link will be below in the description. Shoot me a follow. That way you'll be notified next time I stream. Streaming will be coming back here shortly. I wish you the best and brightest success in your cities. And as always, happy building.